Oh, you're being ridiculous. He's a professional football player.
No, look, I'm not talking about killing the guy. I'm just talking about going up there with a group of dudes and intimidate him. Maybe break his arm.
You can't break Tom Brady's arm.
Oh, yes, I can. No more Super Bowls for that pretty boy.
Listen.
Robert better not get in my face, because I'll drop that mother.
What did you say? What the f*** did you just say?
Bomberowski to the near side.
What are you, a f***ing lunatic? You and your mom are hillbillies. This is a house of learned doctors.
I respect him as a coach, but I'll be damned if I allow someone to,
But I'm going to kick you repeatedly in the balls.
You got long balls, man. Long balls. You got long-ass balls.
You can't pick
What
on
should I You know exactly what you've done, sir.
It's bullshit. I'll say it again. It's bullshit.
Nah, I'm just pissed off.
Let me tell you something with absolute honesty and concern for your well-being. Tom Brady would kick your ass.
You know, I was rude and inappropriate, and, I just want to say I apologize. I'm sorry that anybody could be offended by something that we were just having fun with, and I enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to do it.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. I am Duke Thompson with my good friend Moose up in Rhode Island and my boy Eazy down in LA. How y'all boys doing?
LA. Yeah, I'm doing good, dog.
What's up, Eazy? You know, your Lakers doing good. They got a new coach.
They are not doing good because of a new coach. The only good thing about it is that he's at least a nice guy. I mean, he's going to keep it positive, but this was not their first choice. Hell, this is probably their fifth or sixth choice. But whatever, you just got to go with what you can get.
Well, you know, and now the Stanley Cup Finals, man, we got the Bruins in there. How you feel about that, Moose?
Hey, but the Blues have made it for the first time since the 70s. So.
Right, 50 years is the longest time any team has had to wait. And you know what? Okay, but time out. You got to hear me out real quick. It was an expansion team in the late 60s and 70s, okay? And they went to 3 straight Stanley Cups, and they lost 0-12 against the Canadiens twice and the Bruins once. So if you ask me, this is actually going to be the second Bruins Stanley Cup if they win, because the first one with Bobby Orr, I mean, yeah, it became a great picture. The picture and the goal, the goal was insignificant. Yeah, it's the greatest picture I've ever seen in my entire life. Honest to God, it's one of the best. But they played an expansion team that had gone 0-8 their first 2 times. They went 3 times in a row and went 0-12. So this is for the second Bruins Stanley Cup. Congratulations to my boys up here in Boston. You know, obviously I hate them. For the sake of the region, yeah, it would be cool to win 3 out of 4 championships this year. I'm not rooting for them. I really don't care who wins. In fact, I'd love to see St. Louis pull one out. But we'll see, man. I mean, it's not the same old expansion team.
No, it'll be insane if that happens. I mean, because we'll be honest, the Celtics probably had a chance at it with the way that the East is looking right now in the finals. I mean, if the Celtics got there, I think they could have beaten, these teams here. But they just, they fizzled out because they had problems. I mean, they should have beaten the Bucks. They just weren't cohesive. They weren't playing as a team. Yeah, whatever. They'll figure it out for next year. But it would have been amazing. It would have been definitely history if all 4 championships went to Boston.
Right. And if 3 win, like for the sake of the city, right, because I think I like Boston more than I hate them. You know, the only team I like that's not in Boston is the Rangers, and that's a deep one for me. But it would be really cool. I mean, it's been about 111 days since our last championship. It's been a long time. So,
Wow. Did you just say 111 days?
Yeah, before that it was something like 93.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Like that's hurtful, man. It's been like
we're just spoiled.
Never. It's been never for me.
It's been never for the city.
Oh,
man.
wait. I got to see the Braves win 1 World Series, but I was already dead inside from all the other losses, so I couldn't really celebrate it that much,
Yeah. I mean, my championships are all through Alabama and their national championships.
And it kind of don't really count at this point, man. Yeah, now it's just kind of like practice.
Oh yeah, for them it really is. I mean, the dynasty at Alabama is just outrageous. I mean, they're already ranked number 1. I mean, the only hiccups they get is sometimes Clemson. But other than that, dude, they're rocking most of the rest of the nation.
So, yes, the Stanley Cup is set for the Bruins and Blues. I go Blues. I would love to see St. Louis win, a good hockey town.
Right. I'll tell you what, real quick, because I know you guys do money mouth. I believe the line on the Bruins is -165. That's actually a really good bet to take because the Bruins are probably going to win this and handedly.
I expect it to. Like, with the fact that he even said the Blues, I'm like, he hasn't been watching any hockey.
Right.
Like, the Boston is going to just pound unless they hit a lot of injuries.
And I'll agree to disagree because either way, I'm going to bet on the Bruins winning. But the Blues are a lot stronger than people give them credit for because they had such a terrible first half of the year. I think they were in last place in the league.
No, they were in last place in January at some point.
So you know what? I give them credit. I give them a ton of credit. Their rookie goaltender, Bennington, first of all, this kid slays outside the rink. You can tell. The look on his face, he's a rookie. He's pompous. He's cocky. That's what you want in a goaltender, dude. They're crazy. I mean, you got to be crazy for 40,000 people to be screaming in your ear when you make one mistake, right? But they're a good team, and they're very strong, and they're very physical, and they're pretty fast. I wouldn't bet on them I wouldn't bet on the Bruins to go 4-0. It's not going to happen.
Oh, no. I think it's going to go 6 with the Bruins taking it. But, I mean, I still think the Bruins are taking it.
Oh, dude, man, look, that's your story, though, man. There's your story. And in sports, you win on stories. So the Blues come back from last place to go to the Stanley Cup Finals and hoist the cup up since that famous Bobby Orr picture. You know, it's the magic of the air, man. It's
come on, dude. There was many stories in Stanley Cup history, but they always, at least lately, they've been diminished. I mean, last story was the expansion team that could, maybe the Knights could get it done. They didn't. The last story you had was, can the Predators take down the big-time Pittsburgh Penguins? No,
right.
They
right.
do that either.
We'll see, dude. Like, I'm looking at a poll right now on Twitter by Everything Hockey. It's a hockey clothing company, and they've had almost 1,500 votes in 2 days on their poll for who's going to win, the Blues or the Bruins, and the Blues are up 59% to 41 for the Bruins. So,
but I think that's just what people want to see. I don't think in their hearts
everyone just hates Boston, man. That's
right.
Dude, no, we just hate Bruins.
No, and them too. But, I think that's just what people want. I just don't think that's what's going to actually happen.
Fair enough. I don't either, dude. Once the Bruins, and this is part of the reason I hate them. This is part of the reason I absolutely hate the Bruins is that when they're in the playoffs, they're unstoppable. Nobody can stop them. They're an absolute freight train against every single team they play. Now, this year they had an easier path. That I'll admit. And if a Bruins fan doesn't, you're an absolute fucking moron. Because, dude, I mean, you had to go through a team that, beat, you had to beat Carolina and Columbus. Those aren't hockey towns. This isn't – it's like a throwaway game in Rochester, dude. But that's just my opinion. I think they would have had a lot more trouble against Tampa Bay or Washington. But obviously those teams got, booted real quick. So – we'll see. It's going to be a great series. That's the only thing I know. I'm glad San Jose's not in it, although I would have loved to see Joe Thornton play against his original team. But it's going to be a good series. NHL is always a fantastic playoff. It's been a fantastic playoff thus far, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, look, if San Jose went, then the rest would be calling stuff in their favor, and then we would have quite a series then, wouldn't we? Because on the way to where they got to, look, they had that major that was called against the Knights in which they were able to come back in the 7th game and win. And then they had the whole game where they got to throw a puck to a man who scored. They had so many things given to them to get this far. If they were in the Stanley Cup, they probably would get some calls going their way again there too. So,
right. The only thing about that team is that their 2 best players were out the last game with injuries. They're beat. They were completely beat. The Bruins would literally run over them if they were in the Cup. And the other thing too about that 4-goal in the 5-minute major, it's only ever happened one other time in NHL history where a team has scored 4 goals on a 5-minute major. So it's unprecedented, and I think Vegas is a bunch of little pansies for complaining about it so much and writing petitions and all this. This wasn't the play with the Rams and the Saints. It wasn't. I'm sorry.
No. It wasn't that. Now, granted, the play itself seemed it seemed worse just because there was blood spilt.
Right.
I don't know if it was as bad as it really was, but either way, the call was made. You know how to defend when you're shorthanded. Just
And he scored a goal later to tie it up and put it into overtime. So it's not like they didn't have a chance. But, I mean, I'd be pissed too. I'm not saying that. If I was a Vegas fan, I'd probably be a little bit rattled too. But also, just know that statistics was on your side. And you let them score 4 goals anyway. So, I mean, what are you going to do there?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, on the other side, not on the ice, but on the hardwood, we got some finals approaching. One side has already been decided. The Western Conference is going to be the Golden State Warriors yet again. Why not? I mean, come on. This is 5 years in a row. 5 years in a row. The first time this has happened since, well, basically black people have been allowed to play the game.
Whoa, man, come on now, man. Why is it always going back to that, huh?
But it's true. The last time this happened was the Celtics back in the 60s, and the only reason why they were doing it is because they were the first to let black people play. It's so weird that they were the first to let black people play in basketball, basically, but they were the last in baseball. Don't make no sense, but, whatever. That's Boston for you. They're a little backwards.
That was like the 50s, 60s Celtics.
Yeah, dude, when they had, like, Russell out there, dude, just blaming on these white folks. But anyway, dude, but again, that was, like, the last time they were, like, there was the last time a team had been to the 5 straight finals appearances. So, I mean, the fact that they've been able to pull that off, post, era of allowing brothers to play that's amazing, dude. I mean, come on, dude. The game changed when that happened.
We know that for a fact that Jordan would have gone to 8 straight championships if it wasn't.
Though, man. I mean, I know we can say that he would, and we know he probably would, but he didn't. I mean, there's just, he just didn't. He didn't play.
That's what David Stern's fault for making Michael have a gambling problem,
Gambling problem, the steroids, who knows what it was. But there was some reason he had to leave for a little bit. And they don't care about steroids in baseball. So if that was the case, he was definitely going to be allowed to go over there and do whatever he wanted to. They weren't going to check his pee. If they didn't check the pee of Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa, they ain't going to check his pee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Barry Bonds, when his head got so big.
Right. No, I mean, there's countless baseball players. We can name, all the people who should be in the Hall of Fame but just aren't because apparently the writers are mad at them for using steroids. Well, you wrote about them. You still sold shit. Screw you. Right, dude. Put them in the Hall of Fame. Man, what's wrong with you? I sit behind a desk and I get to decide who's a Hall of Famer. Nobody who cares about you, you stupid writer. Anyway. But anyway, in basketball, though, there's still the Eastern side. It's the Bucks and the Raptors still tied at 2-2. So could be either one goes in. I'm leaning towards the Bucks because it feels like this is just a series of whoever's home is going to win. And they have home field advantage, so they're probably going to get it done. But who knows, man? Kawhi Leonard's a pretty bad player, but I still think it's going to be the Bucks.
It's going to be the Bucks, man. I like the Bucks, small market team. Let's take down let's make a scenario of David versus Goliath. Let's not pretend the Golden State was hated for all their success, but I wish my team was hated for all their success too.
No, I'd rather the Bucks get there too, man, because they have more players. Like the Raptors really just have Kawhi Leonard showing up every day, but the Bucks kind of pass it around, and like there's different guys each night that show up, and I think that's something that you can win a championship off of. Versus like, well, if Leonard doesn't do it, then we're screwed.
Yeah. So and now like Golden State Warriors are waiting. I think it's like 9 more days before the finals start.
Yeah, they got plenty of time to rest up. They gives Durant time to rest. Boogie Cousins looks like he's ready to go, and Iguodala should be back. I mean, the fact that the Warriors were able to sweep the Trailblazers without 3 main guys. I mean, dude, Steve Kerr is badass. Like that's the only real reason why I give the Warriors a pass on everything is because of Steve Kerr and what he meant to my childhood. So, I mean, I'm always happy for anything Steve Kerr does because he got punched by Jordan.
Yeah, and that was awesome too, man. And also he had that game-winning shot when Jordan passed it to him in the corner, and it just went right. Yeah, I had fond memories of Steve Kerr too, and the Bulls. And man, when basketball is basketball,
right?
Basketball.
So that's why man, I have love for the Warriors. Even though, I mean, I really have no affiliation with them. It's Steve Kerr, man. is Steve Kerr. And he's clearly a leader, that's for sure.
Well, he is clearly a leader, man. But
that man could take a season completely off and he'd still have a job.
He could take 2 to 3 seasons off.
Basketball's not, dude. In my opinion, like if you look at the entire broad scope of the league, like coaching doesn't matter. Like you know more than anyone, Eazy, that this is a player's game now.
Oh, very much so.
You know what I mean? Like, look at Brad Stevens. He gets a talent like Kyrie Irving in here. Gets Gordon Hayward, Al Horford's playing great. We got 2 great young guns. I mean, but he can't coach them because they don't want to be coached. They just want to ball, man. That's what this is. Like that, in my opinion. Now, are some coaches like Doc Rivers, he can coach. There's no doubt about it. Brad Stevens, his inbound plays, they're unbelievable. But
I mean, and Pop is always going to be a coach. Like, as long as Popovich is there, you're going to listen to him and you're going to do what he says.
Right. Like, could you imagine Tony Parker going and do his own thing? Like Tim Duncan going and doing his own thing? Like, I'm sure they had a little bit of improv, but other than that, I mean, those guys are getting coached. It's not the same. And you can tell.
Well, that's true. I mean, since Tony Parker has left the Spurs, I mean, he has kind of been, little to nothing at all. I mean, granted, he didn't go to a great team, but still, like, he's kind of disappeared. He hasn't been the same player. He's older, but still, it's just his numbers dropped significantly. But, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of good coaches. I mean, D'Antoni at this point in time is just like, hey, Harden, what do you want to do? And that's no way to coach.
Right. I want to shoot from the 3, coach.
Right.
Or I want to shake somebody out of their boots and then miss the 3, whichever one.
Right, but that's not coaching. That's just literally standing there. And then when they go back to the other side, I mean, there's no real defense. I mean, I just don't know why D'Antoni gets paid. But, hey, you know what? More power to him.
Well, who do you want? I mean, do you want who do you think's going to get there, the Bucks or the Raptors?
Man, I really think the Bucks are going to get there. And when it comes down to it at the end, man, I think the Warriors are going to eventually get it done, especially if they are at full strength. I mean, it'll be a better series with the Bucks anyway. I'll tell you that. But,
right, the Greek Freak, man, he is fun to watch. Even when
he's fun to watch. He's really big. He's going to be at least difficult for them to guard when he's like at his peak.
Although I'm going to say this, that man carries the ball all over the floor.
Well, yeah.
He carries it all, like worse than anybody I've ever seen. And I think it's just because he has such a large stride. Like he's massive. Like he takes like 8 steps to go down the entire court. And
I mean, it might not even be that many.
No, honestly, it might not. He's just an absolute like, but I mean, me personally, I'd love to see the Bucks, take it. I think it'd be a great thing for him and his country, and especially international players. Like I'm sure they're looking up to that guy now. So if he makes it, I mean, they're gonna look to him regardless if he wins or not. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the game.
That's true. It's true.
Now, I want to talk about something real quick. Now, I caught a lot of flack from all you diehard Arizona Coyotes fans out there on Twitter today. Now, I made a joke because the team, the majority owner, Andrew Barroway, he supposedly sold either 51 or 50% of the team, but it has been said that he is going to be the minority owner. Now, Jim Irsay took a picture on Twitter the other day with him in an Arizona Coyotes sweatshirt. I made a joke, shouldn't have used the word reported. I made a joke on Twitter saying reportedly Jim Irsay has bought the Arizona Coyotes. And there's been some speculation that he was involved. He said there's no involvement, and he's probably not. But, Arizona fans just weren't that happy with my fake news, I guess. I don't know what it was, but I have taken some heat. So I want to apologize formally. This is my first formal apology. I'm not used to this, so bear with me here.
I'm glad you were able to humble yourself.
Right, Arizona, I am deeply sorry. I'm deeply sorry that your team is a fucking garbage dumpster fire.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm going after them. The Arizona Cardinals or Coyotes fans have officially joined my list of insufferable fan bases. Now, these guys are coming in every which direction.
I'll be honest with you, dude. I didn't even realize this hockey team was still a thing. I thought they were gone.
Right. So that's what I said. Oh, are they going to move the team to Indianapolis? Maybe a Canadian territory or a province?
Yeah, give them back to Atlanta. They haven't had anybody since with the Thrashers.
Right. Or Quebec. Like, Quebec needs a goddamn team. Anyways.
I don't know, man. I'm
not actually sorry. Some guy asked me to delete the tweet, and I was like, you want
delete
me
the tweet?
He goes, delete this tweet. Nothing on it is real, blah, blah, blah. And I got all these fake news retweets, dude. I swear to God, Arizona was on one today. Like, everybody's trying to catch clout from my tweet. That was a joke.
Either way, no one even knew they still had a team. I mean,
nobody gives a shit. They should move the team. Everyone's saying they're not going to move the team. They should, because your fan base sucks. Anyways,
well,
the thing
that got a lot going on in Arizona, so they need everything they can get.
Right. The thing that bothered me the most, though, is that you always like to dig a little bit if there's some people like talking strong about you, So I didn't say anything back relatively mean to anybody. I let them have their 15 minutes of clout. And I went on 3 of the dudes' profiles. Now, there were probably about 20 that retweeted my tweet and, was talking all shit. Most of these guys are like, in their bio, are fans of multiple teams in the same professional sports leagues. So I'll give you an example. This one dude was a Colts and a Cardinals fan, as well as a D-back and a Red Sox fan. Another guy was an Oakland Raiders fan. He was a New York Knicks fan. He was an Arizona Coyote fan and an LA Galaxy fan.
Well, those are at least all different. I mean, that's not in the same sport.
Fair enough, right? But there were other ones, right, that just, they rep 2 teams. And I wanted to ask you guys something, because this is something that deeply bothers me. And the reason it deeply bothers me that you can be a fan of 2 teams in one league is because you have the opportunity to win a championship twice in 1 year, right? Now, is there an age cutoff, or like, is there a thing that like once you have a fucking job, you should like pick a team? Like, I'm really confused because in my world, which is a real sports world, like where I live and die by my team, I'm just honestly a little confused by this aspect that you can have, a favorite team, 2 favorite teams in one league. So is there an age cutoff, or is this a fucking thing we just need to stop?
I mean, look, I don't know, man. I mean, in the baseball way, technically, the ones that you mentioned did have they were fans of technically 2 different leagues, if you want to go as nitpicky as National League and American League. But look,
what about the Colts and the Cardinals? Is that like a conference thing too?
I mean, I guess you can go that route too if you really wanted to. If you want to get nitpicky. I mean, I myself, if we're going to really get honest with it, I'm Chiefs number 1, and I pay attention to the Titans because I grew up in Nashville.
But that's different. You pay attention and rep it. I don't see you got no Tennessee merchandise there.
I don't.
Yeah, see, that's the difference, man. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I pay attention to the Chiefs. I like to follow other teams, but I'm not repping that shit, man.
Right. And I've been seeing these tweets. I don't know if you guys heard about the new tier app. Have you heard about that? So basically, you can make your own tiers, and you can put pictures next to the tiers. And all these people, all these sports guys I follow from all over the country on Twitter, because I follow all random accounts so I can bug them. They have, one column will be love. The next one below it will be really like, and then don't like, and hate. And they'll put sports teams next to it. I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, I'd love to do one of these things. I think I would be like the Grinch with it, though, because I would have love, Patriots, and then underneath that, I think I would just have one more tier that says fucking loathe. I don't like any other sports team. Like, what I'm saying is every other sports team would be in the fucking loathe section or hate section.
I mean, that's fine. That's your opinion on the subject.
Or maybe I'd have like a don't mind section because these teams don't matter anyways. You know what I mean? But these guys have like 6 layers of like, I sort of like them, I like them. And I was like, this is some middle school shit. I'm sorry. If you're a grown-ass man or woman, and you're a true sports fan and you're tweeting about it and you're retweeting people about jokes and shit, like, just pick a team, dude. you're boring everybody with your misconceptions and whatnot. Which one do you like?
See, you can't trust people like that, man.
Just my opinion. It's just an opinion.
That's probably fair. That's probably fair. I mean, for me, baseball, we're going Dodgers. Football, we're going Chiefs. When it comes to basketball, I mean, I care mostly about the Lakers, but I pay attention to the Bulls because of my childhood, you know? Well, I mean, for me in basketball, you know, I had that cockiness that I was going to get drafted one day, so I didn't find in the basketball affiliate because I would hate the Timberwolves, and then I get drafted by them. That was the cockiness of my childhood. But like, so again, you know, that one was more about money. But either way, dude.
Hey, we all need money, but like, I just want to know what type of satisfaction somebody gets if they like two teams and like. So what happens in the Super Bowl if the Cardinals and the Colts play? You dingbat. Like, is it okay?
Well, they probably, you know, lean towards one more than the other. Since they sound like they're from Arizona, I guess they'd go Cardinals.
You ain't getting it, man. These are the people that want the cake and eat it too. They want to be wishy-washy. These are the participation award kids. Okay,
look, dude. If they like
you go hard, man,
then they should all be Boston Patriots.
No, dude,
Boston,
I don't.
New England Patriots.
Dude, I love football. I like to watch it, but I'm not going to rep nothing else other than Tennessee. You ask me who I support, Tennessee. I may like, you know, watch like Russell Wilson play, but I'm not going to rep no Seahawk crap because that's my team, dude.
I think that's different too, though, because like I would definitely rep like an old Memphis Grizzlies jersey or an old Vancouver Canucks. No. But here's the difference. I would rep the jersey, not the team. Okay, so if it's a sick looking jersey, I would rep the jersey. If it's a sick looking,
yeah, dude, I'm about to get a Vancouver Grizzly jersey with Bibby on the back.
Exactly, like the Vancouver Grizzlies hats. You don't even know how many people have that stupid fucking teal hat in Rhode Island, like that don't even know the team. That's different. Just repping a squad, repping, you know, a color or a jersey. That's a little bit different in my mind. But like, if you're on social media and you're like proudly repping two teams, buddy, get a fucking job and move out of your parents' basement and stop tweeting at me, okay? He goes, I'm random. Bro, it's random that you're a D-backs and a Red Sox fan. Like what? You get to win the World Series, what, every 34 years with the D-backs now, and you get every fucking fifth year with the Red Sox? I mean, it's just ridiculous to me, man. It's like, that is the definition of bandwagon. Like, who are you going to like in 5 years? You're going to add a third team to that? It infuriates.
That's what's killing sports, man. That's what's killing it, man, because these people, these new kids don't know ride or die, man. Ride or die with your team.
If they spend money on multiple teams, that'll keep the sports afloat because now they're spending more money than the fan that just loves one team.
I ain't buying no, dude. No, dude. No. Actually, Jonathan, no, because I know for a fact that if I went out and bought a Titans jersey, that all that 32 teams split up all the merchandise profits. So each team gets a chunk because everybody's buying Brady jerseys and nobody's buying Arizona Cardinal jerseys. The Arizona Cardinals still need a little money, man. So your merchandise doesn't go directly to the team.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it helps the whole.
It helps the league.
I mean, but the league needs to stay around, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you have to like just go like, oh well, man, these teams are struggling, man. These teams ain't struggling.
Right. Like I'm gonna pick up an Arizona Cardinals or Coyotes hat so it can keep their team afloat. But that's the thing. Like, I don't want to keep your team afloat. I don't give a fuck about your team. Like, that's the thing. It's different to have respect for a team. Like, I feel like you're rooting for two teams right now, Jonathan. That's how I feel. You know?
I never said I was rooting.
Whose side are you on, the leagues or the fans, bro?
I'm just saying, dude, if we don't have a league, we don't have anything to be fans.
The league ain't going to disappear.
You buying some jersey from China for 1,500% more than the price it was made for. That ain't keeping the league afloat. I mean, this is just one of those things where it irks me because, like, you know, they're putting opinions out about my tweet that was a joke that they're all taking serious. And now I know what it's like to be, you know, almost like halfway famous, boys. Like, this is it. Like, and you know what? I decided not to say anything back towards them because I was like, little fish in a big pond, man. Little fish in a big ass pond.
Hey, you better start eating.
The most horrible part is, too, you didn't use any of the Fumaruski or the Ricky Williams Trilogy Twitter to do this so that we can get our name out there, because
I did not. If it got retweeted enough, I would have put a thread underneath it. But it really
See?
wasn't.
No. The Moose is out there for his own game, man. I thought we were a trilogy, man.
Right. I'm not worried about that. Buy me a shirt so my company doesn't go, down, like the thing Jonathan was saying. Anyways, I'm sorry I ranted. You should like one team and grow the fuck up, because, my parents told me life wasn't fair. And guess what? Same thing in sports. Your team loses, life isn't fair, you little bitch. Like, what are you going to tell your kids, that, like, they can pick 2 or 3 teams that you like? Like, no. Like,
well, kids can. Children can.
What's the cutoff then? I asked the question earlier. What's the cutoff? 8?
12.
8? I don't know. I think you could.
I'm just saying, after 10, like, kids are on social media now and shit, and you're going to get had for liking 2 teams. Like,
yeah, look, once they're in high school, if they haven't made a decision yet, then then they
Look,
need to stop.
Dude, 12, man. You gotta get that shit in middle school, man. He's got to live life lessons.
Middle school. What if your family moves?
Dude, you still support that too. Okay, example. I'll show you the example then, dude. My Titans came in '99. Before that, I was a Chiefs fan because I loved Joe Montana and Marcus Allen. What happened when my hometown team got a new team? I was Titans all the way, because he's a hometown dude. That's why, man.
I know.
But Duke, as well as me and Jonathan, that's different, because you're not just picking teams. Like, you genuinely, you had a team move to your area or an expansion team. I fully expect you to maybe, think about making a change, but at like, if you're in your 30s, dude, like, figure it the fuck out. That's all I'm saying. Like a team, stick with them and deal with it. Like, you're exactly right too, calling it participation trophy. Like, that's exactly how it is. Like, no, I just can't. I can't do it, boys. I can't like more than one team. Like, I can respect every team out there, but
looks like we're not going to get any more fans coming out of Arizona. But everybody, that's about the halfway point of this episode of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. You found the Moose's opinions about liking multiple sports. You can't do it unless you're under the age of 10, according to him. At least the Duke will give you 12. Hey, look. Hey, I'm just saying, once you get through some of that first few years of hormone and teenage angst, yeah, you need to get it done at least by the 9th grade. But either way, that is the first half of this episode of the trilogy. We'll be back here very soon. Stay tuned. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is time for your Fumblerooski Sports News Weekly update. The Boston Bruins will be facing off against the St. Louis Blues in this year's Stanley Cup after St. Louis plowed through their opponent, San Jose, last night. The series begins this Monday at 8 o'clock in Boston. It is the first trip for St. Louis in 50 years. Ndamukong Suh and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are finalizing a one-year deal. This just in the wake of Gerald McCoy being released by the team after not being able to find a trade partner in the last 2 to 3 months. Patrick Peterson of the Arizona Cardinals has been suspended for the first 6 games of the season for a PED violation. He decided not to appeal and took the 6 games. And finally, Julian Edelman has signed a 2-year extension with the Patriots. The extension includes an $8 million signing bonus and $12 million guaranteed. The man has finally been paid. Now, Duke, I understand you had to talk about a little something that had to do with the new rules in the NFL regarding the instant replay. Now, I'm going to be honest. I was a little busy at work the last 2 days. I'm going to need you to fill me in a bit.
Well, first off, I think that might want to have the microphone unmuted. That's
I'm
gonna
sorry.
help you out a lot there, Duke.
That's Bush League. I know, man. I apologize. that's I got guy gets sent to the minors again, man.
Man,
God,
that's pitiful.
But replay has been a big thing in sports lately, especially with recently the Kentucky Derby and the horses. Apparently, they got lanes, and people are upset about that.
I mean, dude, again, it hasn't happened in over 140 years.
It never happened.
That is nonsense.
But people are acting like there was no instant replay, but they got photo finishes, right? Then in hockey, thank goodness it didn't screw the St. Louis Blues over, but then the man takes the puck and swipes it with his hand. That's obviously a clear violation of people. So thank goodness that didn't happen. But this week, they've been talking about instant replay. I got to harp on Pete Carroll here. Pete Carroll wants to rid the NFL replay. He says he wants to get rid of it or at least decrease the use of it. He says it's missing the human element. To me, man, this is a quote from a man who has benefited from the human element. If you guys remember 2012, the replacement refs game where it was a clear interception, but yet they called it a touchdown for the Seahawks. So, yeah, Pete wants the officials. He doesn't want replay, but you know what? There's a couple things here. Gambling is coming to a town near you guys, and we need to get these calls right. There's a lot of money involved in these sports now, and if gambling is going to be legalized, we need to make sure that the bettors are getting a straight game. And
well, I mean,
also we can't.
It's straight as fuck. You know, I mean, there's some stuff that's going to happen, but you know, stuff like what happened in the Rams, Saints, that kind of stuff can't happen.
That can't happen. I mean, that was just outrageous.
And then the puck being tossed forward for the Sharks. I mean, that stuff can't happen. Like these are things that you know are a rule that should be easily rectified. But again, they're like, well, we can't do it. Why? You know that's a penalty that can't happen.
No,
you got to say something.
I understand. I want a balance. I understand of getting the play right, because I can't understand these sports fans who are all like, oh, well, it's just slowing the game down, slowing this. What, taking 2 minutes to make sure the play was right, even though if I see it from my couch, that obviously the refs screwed up. And if it goes against my team, I'm pretty pissed off because I feel like the other team got away with something. And, of course, they're going to have to do a makeup call.
So what you're proposing is that if we're going to review plays, we need to review them all.
Well, to a certain point, if you can't review every single one, but I believe what Belichick says, why not? I mean, if you think there was an outrageous hold that affected the game, then I should be able to recall that. But if it wasn't, then I get my flag taken away. It's kind of like what they do now. Maybe just add one more, right. Because then you punish them for delaying the game, but if they get it right, then they get an extra review. So I'm cool with that because I got money on this. You understand? And I want the calls to be called right. That's all. And
I think the thing is now, right? First of all, Pete's the oldest head coach in the NFL.
And also, too, he almost took his shit off again, dude. How outrageous is that?
Again, I'm going to say good for him. Good for him. If he's not the oldest, he's one of, and so is Belichick, right? So
no, Belichick's younger, ain't he?
But I'm not going to sit here and say that it's like old time thinking because we talked about it as soon as this play happened. Like the next week when we were on the podcast, we said, and I might be paraphrasing, but basically, if you're going to replay, you better replay it all. You better make it an available option for any play that shouldn't be called the way it's called. And I mean, that's what NFL fans have been asking for years. That's what we've been doing. That's how we all feel.
Well, that's true.
But you can't go back. You can't go back. Like Pete, you're wrong. You washed up, guy. Don't worry about it. Okay, like just keep taking your shirt off. You look good as a 68-year-old man. You're fit.
I think he's 67.
What did I say? 68?
Yeah. Don't give him that extra year. But he's 1 year older than Belichick. So it is. It's Pete Carroll is the oldest.
The difference is that Belichick is never going to comment like seriously on one of the. He gave such a vague response. Yeah, I'm for it. I don't mind it. I think that play should be called right. Yeah, that dude, he's a stand-up politician. Great. For Pete to come out here and say that is a little bit of nonsense just because
he benefited.
You know it's not going back, though. Like, this is what we were asking for 10 years ago, was replays. We want to get the calls right. The fact is that the league hasn't implemented anything like that. Same in the NHL. I mean, we were having the same conversation 40 minutes ago. I mean, it's just one of these things. You need to either be, as a league, all about it or not about it. And what do you think the NFL is?
Well, here's the thing is they seem to be all about it in the last few minutes of the game. And I don't know if that should be the way because there's penalties happening throughout the rest of the game.
Right.
So if now you care about it at the end of the game, that means you just care about the money. What you should be caring about is the game itself and the integrity of the game. So again, with the AAF, I almost forgot who they were because it's been so long and they don't exist. But they had the Sky Ref, somebody who kind of oversaw what the other refs were doing. Like maybe there needs to be a Sky Ref. I'm sorry the NFL has to buy one more referee per game, but maybe that's something they need.
You just broke the budget, Jonathan, because we gotta get guys these full time, man.
Well, they won't even pay the people who work the Super Bowl, so like it's hard.
Well, too, man. It's just just get it right. At the end of the day, just get it right, guys. Also, they say too, which is good news, is everybody's all upset about the new defensive pass interference rules. The league is actually meeting in Arizona, I believe, for the yearly meetings. But the committee meeting met today, and they were talking about that because there was a concern. They said, well, if a guy just chucks the ball up every time, what would happen? Can they call it? Apparently, they're not going to review that. That is going to be just off limits. They're going to have that play classified as its own thing and just say whatever happened.
So you can't just toss a 70-yard bomb and hope.
Yeah, and say hope. Yeah, exactly. Be like, oh well, then we'll lose. And because I could see guys do that all the time.
Man, I would call a play. I would make a play just for that. It would be called the "we're gonna get pushed 60 yards down the field" play. Like that's literally what it would be. You send them all down there and make it a cluster of fucking nonsense.
And that's exactly what we talked about as soon as the Chiefs, recommended it at the end of the season or at the end of their season, rather.
Don't give me on the Chiefs about their little oh man, how they want to change overtime rules because you didn't get the ball back because you couldn't stop Tom Brady. Boo.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Even before that happened, I didn't like that change because when it was first sudden death, that's fine. But then they gave it this little weird sudden death with a clause. And I'm like, well, either go one way or the other, but this sudden death with a like special clause is stupid. Because if you score a field goal, then the other team gets to score a field goal. Who gives a damn? If one team scored, then we should be done. But if they score a touchdown, then we're done. It's like, well, that's stupid. Then what is? There's no real change to the.
I say we have the kickers try to kick a 65-yard field goal.
Make it a penalty kick situation. Right. That's a better kicker.
Right, it's like a shootout. No, but honestly,
well, I mean, if you're going to have it this weird, like sudden death kind of, then I mean, like it either give each side the ball or just make it another 15.
Exactly. But going.
Well, no, they don't if you score. It's weird, dude. If you score the touchdown, it's done. But if you score the field goal, then the other side gets it.
Right, like college does different. They get it from like the 35, right? Or the 30. Right.
But then they just let it go on and on and on until somebody wins.
But that's college football. So, like, there are teams that obviously should not be playing against who they're playing against. That's
what they do is they go 25, right? And then after the third overtime, they're not allowed to kick an extra point. They got to go for 2 or something like that.
Yeah, they got to go for 2. So it does make things a little more difficult. It could go on forever, or it could end after the 2-point conversion stuff.
Well, I'm fair for that then. Are you, Moose? I mean, I'll take that over then. I just want to make sure that it's fair. But, like, I kind of like saying that if your defense can't stop them, then.
Exactly. No, I think
my thing is, I have no problem with that theory if it's just pure sudden death. Right. I don't like the sudden death, but maybe. It's stupid.
See, I sort of like the sudden death, but maybe.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because the thing is, if you have to drive down the entire field after a kickoff, and you have to score, and if you score, but
the kickoff is soft now. First off, you let it go into the end zone, and they move it all the way up halfway down the field. Basically.
Right, you let it go into the end zone if your kicker doesn't know how to fucking kick a ball. Have you ever seen Steven Gostkowski kick a ball on a kickoff?
Look,
it's like one of the.
Hey, dude, sometimes you don't get the bounce. The second it crosses that line, it's a touchback, dude. So I mean, come on.
Right,
so,
but how many drives are there in a game? Right, endless. Right, like endless. I don't know on the top of my head the average. And if you can't stop one because it's overtime, then you probably don't deserve to win. I think I'm with Duke on this one.
Yeah, dude. That's okay because I can't stand the field goal. It's so easy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying just straight sudden death. I don't care about like if it's a field goal, the other side gets a field goal.
The XFL did it right back in the day. I mean, you fight for the ball. You got to do this. I mean, honestly, I would rather we just put the two biggest guys up on the team and they duke it out at the 50-yard line, and whoever knocks each other out first, they fucking win. I mean, these guys are violencing all over, after
Hey, look, I like that better than the sudden death maybe. I like that much better than sudden death.
What is it about the sudden death maybe, though, that, like, because there's got to be a tick because it is fair. Let's be honest.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not fair. I just don't think it doesn't seem necessary because it's like, one score works, but another score doesn't. Like you could drive it all the way down to the 3-yard line. Something might happen. You don't get it in, and then you have to settle for the field goal. And then the other side, but the other side, they barely get to the 40, but they have Janikowski who can kick it from God knows how far. Do they really deserve it because they got a better kicker? No.
That's fair enough. No, I can understand that, but also I'd argue that point with saying that in regular time and in the game, a touchdown is different than a field goal. It can mean your team wins.
I know that. I know that, but I'm just saying, like, one field goal was 20 yards, the other one was 65. Right. That's like what. So that's the equivalent. Like,
what do you think? What do you think? Like your perfect example of an OT would be, Jonathan?
I mean, I guess the perfect example was what they're doing in college. It's not great, but I mean, it's a good example of both sides get the ball. You get the 2-point conversion. I would say eliminate the field goals from the get-go. It's all 2-point conversion because it's the pros. So
that's pretty badass. I could support that. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at seeing more football, dude. That's the thing is like I wouldn't be mad at it. So
I can support that.
But that the NFL, they would never start at the 25. I mean, you toss it to ground.
Just start at 40.
Put it at the 40. If you score, you got to go for 2. Other side, boom.
Right. I would go all the way to the 50. I think you should be able to drive 50 yards if you are going to win a game in any situation.
I mean, whatever.
You know what I mean? And I would agree.
We're really that's just 10 more yards.
Right. So you would get rid of the kick, though.
Yeah, I mean, screw the kicker altogether. I mean, really, the kicker, even though they are important to the game, they're not the reason they're in overtime, really. Right. So, like, let's...
I could argue that.
No. I mean, yes, they kicked the ball to get it in there.
Right.
But the other team did a lot to get them to that position where that could happen.
You know what this is? This is just hate on the kicker.
I'm not hating the kickers.
Okay? They are players, too. They're part of the team. Okay?
I know they're important.
You know how many times the game comes down to the field goal? Because
that's great. They got him into overtime. They got him to that point. Their job is done.
Kickers are people, too.
Let the rest of the team go win the game. They got him to overtime. I'm happy for them. They did their job. But now let's let the men play.
Well, the men couldn't get it done then, man.
Jesus Christ. Let the men play. Hey, kick is mad at too, all right?
I didn't say they didn't. They got him to overtime, and I'm
kickers nowadays, I'll be completely honest with you. After this past 2 years that I've watched football, like, intensely, I don't think kickers fucking matter anymore to these teams. I mean, Matt Nagy had dudes out there in OTAs and after the season kicking 40-yard field goals. And guess what? 85% of the entire team made them. Granted, not a game.
Whoa, dude. Kicking a field goal like
let me finish. They weren't game time situation field goals. And I feel bad for this kid, Cody Parkey or Parker, whatever his name was. He's out of a job. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it was cold, wind, he was in a rough condition.
There's a whole lot of factors that go into kicking a field goal during a game, dude. Like that's some serious. You got to have some nerve and you got to have some gumption if you're gonna kick a field goal in an NFL game. I mean, these guys nowadays, they're just shunned. They just, as soon as they mess up. I mean, how many wide receivers drop a ball every single year?
Oh, I know, dude. If you drop a ball, if they treated you the same way as if you missed a field goal,
right,
it'd be a difference.
Oh, yeah. And that's obvious because you put on the biggest stage and it's a silent moment. It's not like every play you're screaming, right? When you're at a game, like every play you're screaming. It doesn't matter. When a kicker comes up, that's when the nerves start to take place because then you're like, is he gonna make it? Right? You're never going you're not going to every single play and you're going, is he gonna catch it? It's completely
I do.
different. I'm all.
Well, you're hoping as a Titans fan they catch it.
There's always secret calls.
Speaking of being a Titans fan, Dookie, I hear there's some competition going.
Oh my God, dude!
No, we know there's competition, and I called it for weeks. They didn't bring in Tannehill.
I called it.
They're collecting dust.
There's a competition because Tannehill's so good. I mean, if he's so good, he would. Dude, no man,
he might be on the field.
He might be on the field. Nah, man. Look, I ain't worried about it. Mariota bulked up. He's a good guy. He's
bulked up. That's the last thing he needs to do with his little injured ass.
What, bulk up, get a little more muscle on him, take the hits harder? Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do, man. Even Brady's
nerve damage. Muscles don't help nerve damage, dude.
Yeah, and nerve damage healed, man. It's been like 8 months almost now. It's gonna be 8 months when it's like come September, man. He's fine, dude.
Well, you better be fine because if he isn't, Tannehill's taking it out.
Undoubtedly.
Okay, first off, here we go. Tannehill's not the goddamn answer. Like, I just want to say this straight up, dude. He is not going to take us to anywhere but maybe the playoffs, okay? So all these people that crap on Mariota.
Well, they weren't going to get what was his name? Crap. He went to the Redskins. They weren't going to go get him in that.
Exactly, dude. What I'm saying, though, is they believe in Mariota. I know they do.
That's his name.
Yeah, they believe in Mariota. We finally surrounded him with weapons and actually a real team now after this long process. And Tannehill is just a backup quarterback. I mean, he spits magic.
Say that now, dude.
I know.
I will say that now. If he takes over the job, and I'll be pissed off if they sign that motherfucker to a long-term deal. He only stole $100 million from the Dolphins.
But if he gets to the playoffs.
Oh, Tannehill? Oh, Mariota.
Yeah, Tannehill. We say the same thing about Mariota to you every week. Like, yeah.
Well,
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not. I'm not trying to be a dick.
No, but Mariota's won a playoff game. I mean, he also
playoff again.
He
lost that playoff.
He also took
the Chiefs lost that playoff.
Okay, look, he also took a team that went from 2 wins the year before he got here to 3 straight 9-7s, dude. Tom Brady didn't do that. Tom Brady came in a cushy situation, man. He's like, you didn't have to struggle.
Came into a cushioned situation.
Oh, man, dude, that defense was stout, dude. Don't give me that.
No. I'm not going to let you compare this right now. Tom Brady has had some of the least quality, talented wide receivers in the league in 20 years, and he's made
exactly. But he has come into a damn good situation with a damn good offensive coordinator and a damn good coach.
That's fair enough. And Mariota has had, 4 different head coaches?
3 different coaches. It is on his 5th offensive coordinator, man.
But I'm still going to keep asking when enough is enough. And if they decide to go with Tannehill, he starts winning games. And if they go –
he ain't going to win games, dude. I've watched Tannehill his whole career, man.
Have you watched Mariota?
Yeah, I've also seen a difference between a winner and a fucking loser.
But in fairness,
I've seen him off the field. I've seen Mariota walk off the field in defeat.
Dude.
Right,
and have you seen him walk on the field and shake Brady's hand when we beat your ass too, huh?
I'm not gonna sit here and take it from you when I have to take it from Miami fans who are still. I'm still getting pictures of the goddamn Miami miracle from the. Congratulations, you did it in regular season. Fuck off and show me.
That's not a miracle. We can't call regular season things miracles.
Yeah, postseasons are only miracles. Regular seasons is just some shit went down.
Man, like that was bad call. That was a bad blown coverage. That's it. Miracles happen when it really matters.
It was just a horrible situation that like everybody knew the game was done at that point. No one would be that relaxed if this was the postseason. You know, people would be on their toes.
But don't call it a miracle. Hey, have you heard the garbage up in New York? How they're like acting like Gacy's gonna be the savior of that?
Yeah, dude. First off, that's a dumpster fire that continues to get baby diapers dumped on it every day. You know that thing is awful. It hasn't been good since back when Bill Parcells was on there, and they had Keyshawn Johnson. You know how long it's been since Keyshawn's been playing? That's the last time the Jets have been good. Don't tell me that they know what they're doing over there. They're praising anything because they have to be positive. They got to put some butts in those seats, dude.
Right, Duke. Hate to tell you, you sort of just like in the same position, man. I mean,
all I'm saying is like, okay, you guys are getting like, you guys are the same people that give Carson Wentz a pass because, hey, man.
Absolutely not. Carson Wentz is a fucking joke, and you know
we haven't given him a pass. Shame on you.
Bring another name. I know. We'll agree. Bring another one. Jonathan, I'll agree with you if you agree. All right, bring another name. Carson Palmer, great. Yep.
Dude, Carson Palmer, man, that guy
always gave him a pass. Always gave him.
They always. I mean, like,
he was a decent man.
I mean, he had AJ Green too. How do you waste AJ? Oh wait, that's Andy Dalton. Never mind.
Yeah,
Carson Palmer had zero.
He had OTA.
Fitzgerald was the
He's still gonna finish with more passing yards than fucking Aaron Rodgers is, dude.
Well,
anyways,
Aaron Rodgers, we all know is overrated.
Give you shit, man, because if you're gonna bring a team up, we want to.
Hey, it's fine, but I'm saying that we finally got the weapons to surround him. We have picked up Adam Humphries, which the Patriots.
I don't know how you feel that is going to be your savior.
Yeah. And we're not, dude. Like I'm just saying, we're building a solid team like the Patriots did, man. That's all. We got.
Dude, look at our wide receivers right now.
Exactly. You have your wide.
People I've never even heard.
Exactly. Of. And we've had Baston, Sharp. I mean, like it's horrible, dude. A little Ed Decker hands.
Like, I mean, look, was probably the best you've had in a while.
I mean, like
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, hey, that's a Hall of Fame legend right there.
Right, exactly. But I'm saying other than that, Kenny Britt has pretty much been your only other wide receiver.
Yeah, and so Delane Walker's back. And also, too, last year was horrible for injuries. And thank God we don't play the Dolphins.
Well, other teams are in OTAs as well. And we've been harping on how Marcus Mariota doesn't look good in OTAs.
Oh, dude, OTA is practice, dude.
Hey, no, it's fine, dude. It's fine. I'm just saying it's been mentioned. It's just been mentioned. I'm going to go into other things, but probably so because they're saying that Eli Manning is looking great just because he went 1 for 6 and threw 2 interceptions. Really, they just say he looks great because he's lost weight. He knows he has competition behind him now, even though the Giants are saying that they're not even going to try to use him for 3 years. Why draft someone number 6 that you're not using for 3 years?
Playing in today's game. And look, I now.
What's that?
I don't know. What was that?
What was that? That's Dan Patrick. Yeah, we can hear that.
Yeah, I guess you're listening to the Dan Patrick show instead of doing your own podcast right now. shows you how invested the Moose is, everybody listening.
I was trying to do a little bit of research, live here. I was trying to do a little bit.
You might have to do a little extra. You got to set up a different computer for that, dude, and do a little.
I have 2 screens going. Listen, I don't need to explain myself to you. All right.
All right. Well, either way, we heard Dan Patrick.
We're gonna put this one on the the producers. It's your fault, nerds.
All right, well,
but no, I was looking at something. I was really intrigued. I went on Twitter, just looked up #NFL just in case anything has happened in the last hour. And Chris Long has come out, and he told Dan Patrick that he used marijuana during the season. Listen, I just wanted what I don't care that I'm high right now, you asshole.
I mean, we don't care, and I mean that's cool. Look, first off, Chris Long ain't getting drug tested because of his daddy. They probably in the random drug test, they probably never went to him. So
right, but he was saying that he used weed most of his career, and he said, "I'm not a dry snitch," is what he said. So he's not going to tell how he's going around it. But I was reading the quote. I just wanted to hear it.
All he does, he said how he went around it. All he did is just quit. They only test you one day a year.
Right, right. So, like, why do they even bother?
That's why Ricky Williams was able to play. I mean, you tell me Ricky Williams didn't smoke weed, please.
You tell me 75% of the league isn't high, dude.
Yeah, dude, they're still smoking. They just know when they can smoke. They just know they have to stop at a certain point. It sucks, man. They got to go through some withdrawals, I'm sure. But whatever, dude, when they get their piss test cleared, they go right back into it again during the season. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I just thought it was interesting because we come back to this conversation all the time. It's just going to keep happening, man. I mean, and they're finally on the right path where I think they might get rid of the weed test. I think that
hopefully they will. But you know what? Chris Long, he's a good person either way. I mean, the man goes out of his way to help those who are in need, to get them clean water and stuff of that nature. Hell, I think, didn't he give his salary from one season
to Philadelphia schools? Yeah. So like the man is a decent human being all around. Great dude. He's a great dude. No, he's never said one thing, honestly, that I can remember that I've disagreed with or even like, what is this dude talking about? No. Chris Long is a stand-up dude.
Stand-up guy. He's got two rings.
The fact, dude, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know he was using marijuana. So
I had heard.
It's really interesting. I mean,
I had heard it, but it was dismissed because of probably the color of his skin. Like, no one cares if you're white smoking weed in the NFL.
Fair enough. Everyone cared when Josh Gordon was.
Yeah, they care if you're brown smoking weed because you're causing problems. People still remember Reefer Madness as if that shit is real,
Right.
If Josh Gordon's problem was weed, then he would still be in the NFL day. His problem was more than just weed, man.
No, he had a little more than just
alcohol. All sorts of stuff.
But they never said what he was caught for on that last one. Like they didn't say it was pills. They didn't say.
I think
don't use alcohol as that because these guys.
When you mix it with painkillers, it's pretty dangerous, man.
Oh, it's pretty dangerous, but it's not against.
These guys are definitely drinking.
That's how substance abuse.
Doesn't matter how dangerous it is. It's not against the league's policies. What we're talking about right now is the league's policies and the fact they don't care if a dude is taking painkillers and drinking a bottle a night and almost dying. They care if a dude is smoking a doink, as Big Dave used to say. If you're smoking a doink, you get a whole year out. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's just like these guys are so confused, and it's going to change. It's going to change real quick, and I hope it does. I hope you guys finally get some medical relaxation in them.
If you'll pay attention, they just announced this week that they are going to do a study on the NFL will be doing a study on medical marijuana. So they got to do the whole study.
Are they going to smoke it after getting hit in the head 50 times a week, or is that how are they going to do that?
They're going to do it with the university basically, and then do the whole scientific deal and spend about 2 to 3 years on it, and then finally come out when maybe they legalize it everywhere. Then they'll be like, okay, we're cool with this, blah, blah, blah. Or at least keep it on the hush-hush saying that.
Well, they should just not care, much like the NHL and MLB don't care.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to eventually just say, okay, we're just not going to test for it no more. And not basically tell anybody. Let's say that that's the route they're going to have to go.
I'm sure
because you know how many people gonna get all upset. Oh my God, look at them people. They're smoking weed. They're high right now. I mean, there's still a stigma with marijuana, even though we live on the West Coast. That the middle states still believe that's the devil's tobacco and all this other stuff. So it's just gonna take some time and so NFL is gonna come around. They're just gonna take some time, man. That's all.
Dude. I blame jazz music for all the bad stuff that.
You played jazz
with marijuana.
Like B.B. King?
Yeah, dude. Actually, it's probably Louis Armstrong. Actually, Louis Armstrong said he was.
Bro, if you even talk about Miles Davis right now, I'm about to fly over them and beat you.
No, I'm not really saying anything's wrong with jazz music. I love jazz music, dude. I'm just saying, like, it's probably a reason why everybody's all like against weed. They're like, oh, look at all these musicians. They're trying to take our women.
Well,
I mean, let's be honest. That's why the federal, mandate was put in place is because they thought, white women were going after black men because of marijuana.
No, that was cocaine, man. They were blaming
I'm sure they used the whole plethora of drugs. Yeah.
It was any one of them. Any one of them, dude. Any one of them.
Man, they use each drug as an ethnicity. Like they blame the Mexicans for the weed. They blame the opium for the Chinese. They blame the cocaine for the black people working.
No. Crack is us. Cocaine,
yeah, dude. I'm talking about the 1930s when when you could walk into a drugstore and buy anything.
Dude, they used to put cocaine in Coca-Cola.
Yeah, back in the 30s when you could just walk into a drugstore, buy straight up heroin, buy cocaine,
it was an elixir. Now they called it an elixir.
Alexa, get your Alexa right here, and the little shoe. And a little shoe shine boy would sell you a little bump of Coke for 5 cents, man.
What? I don't know if that was accurate to the time.
Yeah, dude. That's what they were hustling it back then, man.
Well, you know what? Now that every race is claiming drugs, I think I'm going to go ahead and claim meth for white people because
that's definitely there. Well, you should.
I've never seen one black person high on meth. It's always been crack. I'm sorry.
I know. I mean, we're still getting high on meth too. It's just not a drug of choice for us. That's mostly y'all's people. But there's still
y'all people. Speaking of y'all people, man, the Lakers got a new coach, and Magic Johnson felt like he was backstabbed.
Yeah, dude, he went right at Rob Pelinka pretty hard, dude. I mean, he went on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. And you could tell Stephen A. Smith was even a little uncomfortable with the man who will talk so much mess about so many people and so many organizations. You could see he was clearly a little uncomfortable with even what Magic was saying and doing because he's like, Magic, really? You gonna say this about this organization that you played for? Like he was a little, he was upset, disturbed by what he was saying. But I mean, really, Magic was making it sound like Jeannie Buss doesn't know what's going on as far as basketball at all. She's brought in all these people, all these ears or all these voices are in her ear, and she's just, listening to everybody and taking everyone's advice, which you can't do. You have to make clear-cut decisions, which she's not doing. But anyway, she's the, probably the sexiest owner in basketball right now. And you got to love the photos that are online of her naked holding basketballs. I mean, you don't get that from other owners in the NBA.
No, and she uses it. They use it as a Twitter handle too.
I believe it is her Twitter handle,
which is quite amazing to be that way. I was shocked when I heard about that. That actually is like, no, that can't.
There's autographed photos of her holding basketballs against her naked breast.
In front of the trophies, as I hear.
Oh, there's even one where I think she's like spread and she's got a basketball right on her vajayjay. So I mean, she owns a basketball.
Wait a minute. Now I only follow to a certain extent.
I love now the Moose is jumping.
I'm gonna need you guys to first off send me the link. Second of all, no.
Yeah, all you got to do is Google her name. It's like the first thing that pops up is her butt ass naked body with a basketball.
He's really going to sit here and tell me how to find naked pictures. Do you boys think I don't know how to do that? Okay.
No, just put her name in. Like, you don't even have to put nudes. Just put in her name.
I've never heard. This is the first I'm hearing about this. Why is this not a national?
Yeah, look at that, dude. Like, literally, that's the first thing that pops up.
So she's the owner. Are you kidding? What is this
she owns the team.
What is this from the 80s?
Yeah, that's an autograph.
You got one of those European stripe lines down there, bro. This is some old. How old is this lady now?
Well, she's in her 50s now. That's probably about 20 years old. So that was probably like late 90s.
Boys, I mean, I know we just talked about not being a fan for two teams, but shit.
You're like, I guess I could like the Lakers and the stuff.
Time out,
the only person that does.
Right? No, come on. This is fun. This is the shit I love to talk about.
Yeah, man.
So first off, timeout. Was she an owner?
At
this point?
I mean, she was the daughter of the owner, but yeah, at this point, she was basically still the owner of the team.
So Daddy went up, grabbed the jerseys, like, all right, Jeannie, you gonna make? Oh, how?
That's her now.
Oh,
yeah, the plastic surgery hasn't been the best for her, but
oh, I would happen to say that it hasn't gone against her either. She got some far apart eyes, but other than that, I mean, I'm not here to talk about this, boys. But
no, for a woman in her 50s, I mean, I ain't knocking her out of bed, especially because she's worth probably a half a bill. So you know what?
No, tricky subject, boys. When you get
either way, she owns the team. Things are in disarray.
And I would not disagree. I mean, I did not know there were just blatant naked pictures of. Good for her. Look at how far she's come. Good for her. Also, I never knew she was so young and owns the team. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So either way, dude, the things look bad. Rob Pelinka is accused of being a snake by everyone, and you can even feel it in every press conference he does. He's like, I had no idea Magic thought this way about me. It's like, dude, and like, you don't even seem honest and genuine in your responses. Like, your responses are like right on point, but they feel like someone has already orchestrated them for you before you even got out there.
Right.
So,
and someone probably did, because Magic's straight talking off the cuff. But honestly, like, Magic Johnson is everything to that franchise. I mean, even before the Genie bust pictures. Oh, you're going to argue with me. The first person that comes to mind when you think of the Lakers isn't Magic Johnson. Is it Kobe Bryant? All right, Kobe.
I mean, you know, it's a tie between the two. I mean, Kobe is just going to be.
I'll accept that answer, but my reasoning is because when I think of the Celtics, I think of Bill Russell and Larry Bird, and I think of the battles that, you know, Bird especially had with Magic Johnson. So when I
but dude, don't act like they didn't put that in his crib when he was.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me, dude? I mean, no. Here's the thing, boys. My old man is not a fan of basketball. He generally has never liked basketball. He thinks they're all pussies. Like, this is just what it is. This is what I've lived with. That and soccer. He's like, why would I when I tell him I watch a whole Celtics game, he's like, you literally had nothing better to do. You couldn't read a book like that. But right, exactly. But that's just my old man. He's not a huge sports fan as it is, but it's just one of those things, man, where I think Magic isn't wrong in what he's saying. And for Rob Pelinka to come out there and say that is a little damning to himself. I mean, how did you not know this? Magic wasn't there to run the team. He was there to be the face.
He was the president of the operations.
He was there
to be a face and recruit, because people were going to believe in Magic more than they're going to believe in Rob Pelinka, you know? And that's what they were believing in. They're believing in Magic Johnson and what they can do as a Laker. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. I mean,
he wasn't there to do presidential evaluations of the company. He was there.
Magic has a reputation for throwing people under the bus and not telling like it is. Like, we knew the feud with him and Isaiah Thomas back in the day.
A lot of people had
people act like Magic is like, oh my God, Magic's always the victim. How dare you? Because he's a likable guy. He's always smiling. And it's like, I heard the guy today on who does. They just yell at each other, which is horrible podcast. Him and Rob Parker with his buddy. Rob Parker and his buddy was getting upset at Rob because Rob just said, hey, we need to take a break from Magic. How dare you talk about a legend like that? He's a Laker, blah, 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 blah. I was like, whoa. At some point, man, I understand how great he is, but, dude, he has a reputation of kind of not letting things go and kind of saying one thing to one person and another thing to another.
Here's the thing, dude. Now, if what he said to Jeannie Buss was true, if he said that he was taking the job, but he was going to do all his other jobs too, and she still said okay to that, then there's really no excuse, and there really should not be any issues in the organization.
Why are you taking this job?
Well, that's the thing. If she still gave him the job, knowing that he was going to still work on his Starbuckses, work on his Burger Kings, work on his TGI Fridays, work on his movie theater, and work on his Dodgers, if he was still able to do all of those things and still be at the head of the Lakers, and she was okay with that, then she knew all he was going to do is maybe recruit players to come in. And Rob was still kind of running everything else. If that's what she said okay to, then it shouldn't be a weird thing that he wasn't in his office every day.
Oh, I understand not being in office every day because we know bosses. We work with people you never ever see. I mean, I work for a company right now. I've only seen the owner 3 times. So, like, I mean, so I totally
One of
understand.
the times you fell asleep during his speech.
Oh man, it was awful, dude. It was just like,
Dude, this kid's falling asleep during his speech.
Insubordination.
Oh, some nonsense, and I had to keep flipping his nip, dude, because I was like, "Yo, you gotta wake the fuck up." And he's like, "Man, what's it called? What's the condition you have when you just fall asleep?"
Narcolepsy.
yeah.
He goes like dead ass, eyes mostly closed, not even looking in my direction. He goes, oh, "Fucking narcolepsy, man."
Narcolepsy. He was probably just stoned. But
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
yeah, it was probably a lot of A.
We got stoned in the fucking parking lot before we entered the movie theater, and he goes, "Yeah, we're early, man." And I was like, "Yeah, there's definitely nobody else here." We walked into a full auditorium full of our coworkers, dude, from 2 different locations. What a great time! Black Panther was great.
Black Panther was great.
Yeah,
all right, at least we went to the movie in the right way. Now, here's the thing, though, dude. Like, the Lakers are going to still be in disarray. Now they have to bring in LeBron James for all of their meetings now. With
my goodness, dude.
LeBron was there. What was he doing, dude?
Oh my goodness, dude. This is the greatest, like, attention, like, whore I've ever seen in my life, dude. Okay, so, like, he...
Oh, my God.
They're like, it's the press conference for the new coach, man. It's the new coach. Like, hey, how you doing? So what does LeBron do? LeBron's like in the background. Hey, man, I'm just working on my game, man. Just don't even look over here, man. But you know we're all looking over there because why are you here, LeBron? If you're not contributing to it,
why is nobody else here from the Lakers? Like, I didn't see Lonzo Ball taking hoops. I didn't see Kuzma. So it's only LeBron.
And like you said, man, if your groin is that bad, man, maybe you should be resting it for a few more months before you actually get out there and play.
Yeah, man, you've had a sensitive groin all year. All I heard about was LeBron James's sore groin.
Right, his sore groin and his glass of wine that he had on the side of the court.
Right.
Oh, how pompous can you be with a glass of wine?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, who's drinking wine in a $3,000 suit court side, you know?
And that wasn't no barefoot wine like us boys are drinking. Like, that was some top quality $120 bottle of wine shit.
You think only $120? Man, it was probably a $500 bottle of wine.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's not worth it per glass wherever the grapes fucking came from.
Right, exactly.
Right now. I've had good wine and I've had awful wine. And you know what? I've realized I'm not a wine guy. Yeah. I'm a beer guy.
Yeah, well, that's fine. You know, one day when you get over the age of 27 and have some class, you'll drink some wine.
Because what bothers me about this, I was listening to this. They reported on LeBron being there, like I mean, literally said, yeah, like I was like, oh, LeBron's there. Oh, he's supporting the team. It's like show up in his suit, say, hey, you know, it's not a coach for the team. No, he's just shooting in the background. Just, you know, hey, you know, just gonna shoot by myself. Like, it's like LeBron, man. You know, you got a basketball court at your house, bro. We know that.
You know, he's got gyms everywhere. He probably has a gym in every city in the nation.
Yeah, he's got a gym in his house. Isn't that what he said? He's probably got a gym in his house.
Oh, no, he definitely has a gym in his house. And he probably has a gym everywhere. He has probably a gym. Yeah, he could probably rent out a gym at any point in time, and it would be so easy for him.
Someday when LeBron becomes president of some team, guess what? It's just for the face.
Dude, but he's not going to be as sexy as Genie. He ain't going to have photos like that, though.
I was talking about Magic.
Yeah, I don't care who it is. They ain't going to have photos like that. All right, man. Well, it's probably time for us to wrap it up for the day. We've had quite a fun little podcast here today. But no. But before we call it an evening, or whatever time of day you record or listen to this, we need to go through our puppy dogs of the week as well as our 34 award. First, I think we start off with our 34 award, correct? Yes, sir.
34 awards goes to, I got actually a few people this week, so because I just could not decide.
Honorary is going to be Chris Long. Just
yes, honorary is Chris Long for retiring a healthy man after 11 seasons, get 2 Super Bowls, and be smoking that weed and going to Africa and helping people with clean water, because a lot of people don't realize that water is probably the major issue in this entire world. We take it for granted. They over there don't have any. They bathe in it. They wash in it. They drink
some of that water did not look quality.
Animals die in it. Just horrible situation for the standard of living over there. But he's going over there to do that. So shout out to him. I got to give it up to Logan Ryan and Malcolm Butler, I believe. Let me look it up. Kevin Byard and Logan Ryan for my Titans. They decided to help pay for the funeral cost of Tony Harris. Do you fellas know who Tony Harris is?
I'm not familiar.
Well, she is a non-specialist female football player. Guess what position she plays?
Quarterback.
Free safety. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So she came down to the draft because NFL was showing about women being in sports and everything, and she's actually been offered a scholarship to Bethany College in Kansas, and she's actually playing for East Los Angeles right now. So she's got a couple more years before she does.
Oh yeah, man, I remember her story. Yeah, because I saw the press conference here in LA for when she got drafted.
So she got offered a scholarship. She's still got a few more years before she's
got the scholarship.
Before she actually graduates, because she's not eligible yet. But unfortunately, she came down for the draft, and a few weeks after the draft, her mother passed away. Logan Ryan and Kevin Byard were being hosts and decided to take them around and spend a lot of time with her, and found out she was a really cool girl, kept in touch and everything, and were horrified when they found out that her mother passed away. So there was a GoFundMe for the funeral costs, so they stepped in and paid for the rest of the funeral. And another shout out to is Adoree Jackson, who unfortunately had to pay for the burial cost of Jalen McKenzie. If you guys remember, a few weeks ago, I gave a shout out to Ezekiel Elliott for helping pay for the cost. Apparently, Adoree and a business partner split it with Ezekiel, because apparently Adoree grew up close to where the kid was growing up, and they actually met, and so Adoree stepped up too. So I can give a shout out to my Titans for giving back to the community. Also, too, I got to give a shout out to the security guard that did not press charges against Ezekiel Elliott. Good for you, guy. You didn't take advantage of a situation where you could have got some money, but you're a professional security guard and say, you know what, Ezekiel Elliott's having a tough time with his girl right now, and I ain't going to take offense to her, because those cops wanted to put Ezekiel in jail. So now we got to see if the NFL is going to punish him for being in handcuffs. I don't know, probably. If Kraft's going to get away with what he got away with, they're going to come down hard on Ezekiel.
Good grief. I mean, one's a billionaire, okay? So first off, no matter what Kraft does, he's going to be excused for it because, again, he's a billionaire. Now, if I played for the Patriots, I'd be going to strip joint brothels all the time and being like, what, Mr. Kraft? You do the same thing. No.
I mean, I give it to the security guard, but also, he probably watched the video of him shying away and just immediately getting tossed into a barricaded rail. And he was probably like, well, everyone already thinks I'm a bitch. I don't have too many friends.
Well, but still, man, I mean, you can press charges. This is a millionaire we're talking about. You can maybe get something good.
When I watched the video too, I was pretty surprised that he didn't challenge Zeke at all. He's just like, you know what, man, just calm down. And then Zeke put an elbow up real quick. I saw that. The camera angle didn't get it great, but when he pushed him, it was mostly with his chest, and then he popped his elbow up right into the kid's chest. So, but I agree. Good for him. Good for him. Just got in a little tussle. It's not his fault.
But on the other side, I got to say puppy dog goes to Zeke. You can't do that, man. Okay? like you said, you just can't be throwing bows, man, in public at a music festival that is known for drug use, man.
No, it's true, man. I mean, come on, dude. Like, of all the festivals to be at, man, you can't be the one extra pissed, dude, especially if you built like that.
Drew Carey did a just little bit about This Is Not Happening skit about how he went to that same festival in Las Vegas and his friends were on a shit ton of drugs. But he wasn't because he's Drew Carey, the host of Price is Right. So he doesn't do that thing. So, Zeke, you got to be careful, buddy. Okay? I understand your emotions, but you can't be puppy dogging like that. You're lucky he didn't press charges because you could be facing another suspension this year. So you got to be careful, Zeke. Okay? I'm really hoping for you, man.
And I'll add on that real quick in saying that, like, if you're a high-profile professional athlete or celebrity of any type, honestly, you shouldn't be walking around a fucking parking lot keeping your girlfriend from walking away with your chest, and then you end up getting so angry that you push some random dude, like, into the back of the fence because he said, you want some? You want some? And I'm sure the guy just told him, I mean, he didn't press charges. I'm sure he just told him something like, hey, man, just calm down, just leave it be. And his girlfriend was screaming, don't press charges, don't arrest him, don't put it on camera, take off the camera. Like, Zeke's got to know better, man. Like, you don't see other athletes generally with the populace in an event like that. Like, festivals, for those that don't know, they are crazy.
Right. No, he really shouldn't even have put himself in that situation because, again, how many athletes did he see there with him?
Right, not many. There were no other athletes with him. Like, if you're going to go to one of those events, you literally need to, like, call the event beforehand if you're that high profile and be like, put aside, apart from me, I'm going to have my driver drive me. I'm going to have this and that. Like, it looked to me like he was about to enter the parking lot. Like, he drove to this place.
Yeah, like he was just a mix-in with the regular folks. And it was like, no, man, you're a high-profile celebrity. Right. I don't care if you play for the Dallas Cowboys or for the Arizona Cardinals. Like, you're still a professional athlete. And if you're a starter, you're probably recognizable. And especially if you start for the Dallas Cowboys, you're very recognizable.
Right, and you can figure out a way to be unseen there.
Yeah.
He's just living the life, man. He's a young dude. He's just living the life, and he needs to stop. He needs to become a professional.
Yeah, dude. That's why everybody's talking about giving the money to Dak and not to him because they're like, look, at least Dak's not getting bad publicity, because there's more of a risk of Zeke being arrested than there is Dak, at least at the rate things are going. So, why put the money into somebody that might be in jail soon?
Exactly. I don't blame him.
And then my other shout out goes to, the puppy dog. Goes to A-Z Sports of Nashville. Okay. Also, too, Titans fans are calling for Tannehill right now. Y'all don't know football, so quit supporting my team.
Okay? Jesus.
Okay. I'm tired.
You need to calm down.
Go after them.
No, I'm tired of this because they don't understand. Who did we have before? Matt Hasselbeck at the end of his career. Jake Larker. Hey, Fitzmagic. Yeah, let's get him back. No, we don't need
man, don't forget about good old Kerry Collins.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kerry Collins when he was so drunk that season.
Hey, he got you there. No, man, he got you there.
To the first round of playoffs and lost.
Well, that's because somebody probably told him not to drink because it was on national television. Everybody's watching. Put down the song.
That was a bad year. Then we were stout, man. We were so good. Defense. I mean, Eddie was still playing. Just damn Ray Lewis, man. That was.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Ravens defense, they don't care where they are. They can be on the road or at home. They're still going to be ferocious.
They're still good. I fear them. Thank goodness we're not playing them this year because, man, they got our number. But also, too, I'll give a shout out to Julie Edelman for being loyal to the Patriots and getting paid. His final year of the deal was only for $2 million. So the Patriots decided to give him an extra $18 million, $12 million guaranteed, $8 million signing bonus, and $2.8 million guaranteed in the last year of his contract. So more than likely, he will retire a Patriot. So.
Yeah, dude, I had no idea they were paying him so little. So good for them for giving him some money finally.
He's making scraps, and you know what? I will probably, for that reason alone, consider him a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL in my lifetime.
Because he took such little money?
Well, here's the thing, right? Is that wide receivers, you know as well as I do, are some of the highest paid athletes per year.
Yeah, but he took little money because of the situation. Like, you're not taking little money playing for the Lions. You're not taking little money playing for the Browns. But you'll take a pay cut to play with Tom Brady, get a ring, and get more exposure.
But regardless, you got to remember that guys like Devontae Adams are making $15 million a year. Guys like Sterling Shepard
OBJ
are making 10 to 12. And fuck it if I don't go down to Corey Davis, who's making $6.5 million per year. All I'm saying
rookie deal.
Sacrifice. Okay, fair enough on a rookie deal. All right, then.
I mean, well, also too, Edelman was a scrap of Patriot. He was actually a quarterback for Kent State, and came through and said.
That doesn't dictate how much he should have been paid for the production he's been putting out.
Yeah, but he got paid now. That was the deal. Patriots say, "Look, you win Super Bowls now. We'll take care of you at the end," and they did. I mean, the man's getting $20 million straight up.
I mean,
and
no,
then
he's getting
2.8 is last.
Guaranteed. But listen, there are guys.
No, he's getting $8 million, $12 million guaranteed, and an $8 million signing bonus. He keeps both.
Yeah, I know.
So,
yeah. Okay.
I mean,
so
they're not going to cut him. I mean, come on, let's be honest. They're not going to be.
Look at some of the wide receivers that are getting paid. Like, I don't know how Julio Jones isn't the number one paid wide receiver in the league. That's beyond me.
Because he's trying to help build a team, and I understand what he's doing.
Right. But there's a lot of guys that are making more than twice as much as he is per year that don't put out what I think is half of the production that he put out.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that I'm impressed. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, you should be impressed with your money management skills.
A 5'10", 200-pound slot receiver that has been probably between the first, I'd say the second and third most valuable asset in Tom Brady's career. And if we're going to consider Tom Brady to be the GOAT, the greatest that ever lived, Julian Edelman played a hard fact in that. So did Gronk, so did Moss, so did Welker. I mean, are we forgetting about him?
I'd put Welker above Edelman. But that's
Welker.
I would too. Honestly, I would too. I think my first would be Gronk because red zone targets was surpassing almost anybody in the NFL. And then I put Welker and I put Edelman. And even that is that even hurts to say.
Yeah.
even that's tough.
But like I say, dude, they're just the magicians with money because they obviously did reward him, but yet they ain't taking hits next year, the year after that. They're saying, we're going to give you your money, make sure you get it, which I like because they're giving them, they spread out the guaranteed money into the signing bonus, which he gets automatically for the $8 million, and $12 million guaranteed, and then he gets 2.8 at the last year of his deal. So they just spread it around, make it.
Still got money.
And still have cap space. That's how Patriots keep winning, man. That's it.
I know it. You got to sacrifice for the greater good. That's why we're the Patriots, son.
I mean, because what's going to happen when Patrick Mahomes gets paid? Oh man, dude, he's going to be like the $60, $70, $80 million a year shit.
Maybe we should speculate on what'll happen.
We'll see. The Chiefs aren't really known for giving out money.
Hey,
but anyway, that was another episode of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Thank you for tuning in. Please check us out on our many social medias. Check us out on Twitter as well as Instagram. We're also on YouTube. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook. Also, we have Money Mouth, the side business where we're coming back. We're going to be gambling and hopefully putting our money where our mouth is. Now, of course, we have the NFL season very, very, very soon. And we're going to probably be talking about, our fantasy picks, our picks for each division. And, things are starting to come to light now thanks to the draft being over. And now some people are, getting out there for the OTAs. Not everyone. OBJ apparently isn't showing up, and Antonio Brown hasn't either. But, who cares? Tom Brady also hasn't showed up. But, Tom Brady can show up sometime mid-October. And they'll be fine. All right. So, again, that was another episode of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. You were here with the Duke, the Moose, and myself. Be easy. Go Chiefs.
Go Titans.
Go Pats.